This guide is for you. It is for anyone who must prepare for an ISO 5060 audit. You might be a manager. You might be a quality professional. You might be a team member tasked with a new responsibility. This guide cuts through the complexity. It presents requirements in simple, clear terms. The goal: make ISO 5060 understandable for everyone. We will break down each part of the standard. We will show what it means for your daily work. We want you to feel confident, not confused. This is your first step toward mastering the standard in your organization. ISO 5060 is a standard, a framework for quality. It helps deliver better products and services. The standard creates a system. The system ensures you meet customer needs. It helps meet legal and regulatory requirements. Adhering builds trust, shows commitment to high quality, demonstrates a systematic approach to processes. Not just about passing an audit, about building continual improvement, a tool to make your organization better every day. Our training goal: simplify each clause, remove technical jargon, explain requirements in plain language. Then, we will show how to comply. We will give practical steps you can take. These are not theoretical ideas. They are actions you can implement right away. Finally, we will show how an auditor will check your compliance. Understanding the auditor's perspective is key. It helps you prepare effectively. It removes surprises from the audit process. Guide follows a consistent structure. For every clause, we provide 4 pieces of information. First, requirement in plain English. Second, specific action steps. Third, records and documents as evidence. Fourth, typical audit checks and questions. This approach ensures you know what the standard asks, what you need to do, what you need to show, how you will be tested. This is your roadmap. Clause 1 of ISO 5060 is about the scope. The scope defines the boundaries of your quality management system. It must clearly state what your organization does. It must identify the products and services covered by the system. The scope also specifies which parts of your organization are included. For example, does it cover a single department, a specific site, or the entire company? This statement is fundamental. It is the first thing an auditor will read. It sets the context for the entire audit. A well-defined scope provides clarity for your employees, your customers, and your auditor. It is the foundation upon which your entire management system is built. To comply with Clause 1, you must first determine the boundaries of your QMS. Sit down with your management team. Decide which parts of your business will be certified. Once you have defined these boundaries, you must write a formal scope statement. This document should be clear and concise. You must also consider any parts of the ISO 5060 standard that do not apply to your organization. If a requirement is not applicable, you must justify why. This justification needs to be documented. The primary evidence for compliance with Clause 1 is your documented scope statement. This is a formal document. It must be controlled and maintained as part of your QMS documentation. Auditors will also look for evidence that this scope is communicated and understood within your organization. It should be available to relevant staff. When an auditor checks Clause 1, they will start by asking for your documented scope statement. They will read it carefully. They will compare it to their understanding of your organization. They might ask questions like, can you confirm that this scope covers all activities at this site? Or why have you determined that Clause 8.3 is not applicable to your QMS? A common nonconformity is a scope that is too vague or one that does not match the actual operations of the company. Clause 2 of the ISO 5060 standard is about normative references. This sounds technical, but the idea is simple. Normative references are other documents, usually other standards, essential for applying ISO 5060. The clause itself is very short. It typically states that a specific document is indispensable, for example, ISO 9000, which covers fundamentals and vocabulary. You cannot fully understand or implement ISO 5060 without these reference documents. Your organization must have access to them. Step 1. Identify the documents listed as normative references in ISO 5060. Step 2. Obtain copies of those documents. Make the reference documents available to key personnel. An auditor might ask, "Can you show me your copy of ISO 9000? Quickly producing the document is proof of compliance. A nonconformity is being unable to provide access to a normative reference. Example: auditor asks for the definition of risk in ISO 9000 and you can't provide it. That would be a finding, a gap in your system's foundation. Section 3, Clause 3, Terms and Definitions. This clause ensures everyone using the standard speaks the same language. Your primary action is to ensure your team understands the official definitions. This usually involves training. Review the terms and definitions with everyone involved in the QMS. Create a glossary or vocabulary list for your organization. Include the official ISO definitions. Include any company-specific terms. An auditor will check your understanding of Clause 3 throughout the entire audit. As they review processes and interview staff, they'll listen for correct use of terminology. Misuse of terms is a common nonconformity and shows lack of understanding. For example, calling a quick fix a corrective action without root cause analysis is a frequent finding. Table of Contents, Part 3, Clause 4, Clause 5, Clause 6. Section 1, Clause 4. Understanding your organization's context. Clause 4 requires your organization to understand its environment. This is the context of the organization. You must look both inside and outside your company. You need to identify internal and external issues. To comply, you must perform a systematic analysis. A common method is a SWOT analysis. You must also identify your interested parties. You must understand their relevant needs and expectations. The final step is to document these findings. This analysis should be reviewed and updated regularly, as your context will change over time. It is a living document, not a one-time exercise.
How did you determine that this new regulation is a relevant external issue? An auditor will check Clause 4 by asking for your context analysis documents. They will review your list of interested parties. They will ask questions to understand how you identified these issues and parties.
A common nonconformity is having a generic analysis that is not specific to the organization or failing to update it when significant changes occur. Section 2, Clause 5, the role of leadership. Clause 5 is all about leadership and commitment. It places responsibility for the QMS squarely on top management. They must establish a quality policy. This policy is a short statement about your organization's commitment to quality. Top management must ensure roles are assigned and understood. Top management must ensure responsibilities are assigned and understood. This policy must be communicated and understood by all employees. Use posters to communicate the policy. Use meetings to communicate the policy. Use training sessions to communicate the policy.
Can you explain how your QMS supports your strategic direction? The most important evidence comes from interviews. Auditors will speak directly with top management. Leaders' answers reveal true involvement and understanding. What is your company's quality policy? A common nonconformity is a quality policy not understood by employees.
Another frequent finding is top management unable to speak knowledgeably about their QMS, showing lack of genuine commitment. Clause 6.1, Planning for Risks and Opportunities. This connects directly to the context analysis you did in Clause 4. Based on the issues and interested party needs you identified, you must determine the risks and opportunities that need to be addressed. The evidence an auditor needs to see is a record of your risk and opportunity assessment. This is often a document called a Risk and Opportunity Register.
You identified this as a high risk. What actions have you planned to mitigate it? During an audit of Clause 6.1, the auditor will ask for your Risk and Opportunity Register. They will ask questions like, you identified this as a high risk. What actions have you planned to mitigate it?
Section 4, Clause 6.2. Setting quality objectives and planning to achieve them. These objectives are the specific, measurable goals for your quality management system. The objectives must be SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. For each objective, you must create a plan. The plan must detail what will be done, what resources will be required, who will be responsible, when it will be completed.
How are you tracking your progress against this on-time delivery target? An auditor will check Clause 6.2 by reviewing your documented objectives and plans. They will verify that the objectives are measurable and aligned with your quality policy. They will ask questions such as, can you show me the plan for achieving this objective to reduce scrap?
A common nonconformity is setting vague objectives that cannot be measured, like improve customer satisfaction. Section 1. Clause 7.1 to 7.3. Support, resources, competence, and awareness. Clause 7 of ISO 5060 is about providing the necessary support for your QMS. It starts with resources. Your organization must determine and provide the resources needed. These resources include people, infrastructure, the work environment. Competence is the next critical element. Your organization must ensure people doing work that affects quality are competent. For competence, key evidence is a training matrix or competence matrix. You will also need training records, certificates, job descriptions. Clause 7.3 covers awareness. Awareness is different from competence. Competence, just ability to do a job. Awareness, understanding the bigger picture. For awareness, evidence often comes from interviews. Auditors will ask employees about the quality policy and objectives. They must know their contribution to QMS effectiveness. Section 2, Clause 7.4 and 7.5. Support, communication and documented information. Clause 7.4 is about communication. To comply, create a simple communication plan. A table or matrix is a great tool for this. Clause 7.5 covers documented information. You must have processes for creating, updating, and controlling documented information. Give each document a proper title, a date, and an identifier. An auditor will sample various documents and records. They'll check that old versions are removed from use. A common nonconformity is finding uncontrolled or outdated documents in use on the shop floor. Section 3, Clause 8, Operation, Planning and Control. Clause 8 is the heart of the standard. It covers the doing part of your business. You must plan, implement, and control the processes that directly impact quality. The scope of Clause 8 is broad. During production, provide clear work instructions. During production, perform quality checks. Auditors will spend most of their time on the factory floor or in operational areas observing work. They'll talk to staff. They'll ask, can you show me the work instruction for this task? Section 4, Clause 9. Performance evaluation. Clause 9 is about checking how well your QMS is performing. This is the check part of the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. It has three main parts: monitoring and measurement, internal audit, management review. You must conduct internal audits at planned intervals. Any problems found, known as nonconformities, must be addressed with corrections and corrective actions. Top management must review the organization's QMS at planned intervals. The purpose is to ensure the QMS is still suitable, adequate, and effective. For management review, the key evidence is the meeting minutes. These minutes must show all the required inputs were discussed and must document the decisions and actions agreed upon as outputs. Clause 10 is the final operational clause of the ISO 5060 standard. It focuses on improvement. This is the act part of the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. When a nonconformity occurs, including complaints, you must react. The standard requires you to take action to control and correct the problem. After containing the problem, evaluate the need for action to eliminate the cause. This is the beginning of the corrective action process. To comply with the requirements for nonconformity and corrective action, you must establish a formal process. A simple nonconformity report or corrective action request form is an excellent tool for this. The final stage of your corrective action process is verification and closure. Only when you have objective evidence that the root cause has been eliminated and the problem is not recurring can you formally close the corrective action record. Section 3. Clause 11. Emergency Preparedness. Clause 11 of ISO 5060 requires your organization to be prepared for emergencies. Test your plan through drills and exercises. Drills reveal weaknesses that can be corrected before a real emergency. Section 4. Clause 12. Continual Improvement. Clause 12 is the capstone of the ISO 5060 standard. An auditor will check for evidence of a functioning continual improvement process. They will ask managers and employees questions like, "Can you give me an example of an improvement you have made in your area recently?" Section 1. Your path to audit readiness and continual growth. We have now journeyed through the entire ISO 5060 standard. 4 pillars for success: clause clarity, actionable steps, required records, audit checks. We have reinforced the need for simple, practical tools and regular internal checks. Call to action. Use this guide as your workbook. Run a full cycle of internal audits. Use the audit check sections as your guide. Test your system before the external auditor arrives. The ISO 5060 certificate on your wall will be more than paper. It reflects your commitment to quality, customer satisfaction, and continual growth.